Okay, so we're going to talk today about making money with your writing. So this is totally impromptu. Those who are joining us, we have never talked before, only through direct messaging. And
Mhm.
I've been reading Claudia's notes and her posts,
Mhm.
and I invited her to talk to me, and which is what we're going to do. So it's totally impromptu. I have few questions for you, Claudia, and but then afterwards we'll take wherever it leads, and I will also take questions by all the listeners who are joining in. Well, I just noticed Veronica has joined us. Hi, Veronica.
Hello.
She's saying hi. So there's quite a few people already joined. So we'll start with the questions, and then we'll see what else
Perfect.
others come up with. So the
Yeah.
first question I have
Actually,
for you is, Claudia.
just just
Yeah,
one
yeah,
one
sure.
quick one because I also love to have those. Sorry, I also love to have those sessions very interactive. So whenever people just want to write something, go ahead and ask the questions. And Flora M Brown said greetings from California, and I love that because recently I started working more from people from the US and more of the West Coast, and yeah, it's actually wasn't aware, but this hour more of my morning time is perfect for people on the West Coast because it's their evening. So people might join now from California and that area. And yeah, thank you for being here. And that's awesome that we can connect all around the world.
Yeah, it's sometimes very tricky to find the times between
Mm.
three continents, Europe, US, and Australia, because we are
Yeah.
totally on the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tell me, Claudia, first, when did you make your first dollar from writing, and how did it
Yeah.
feel like?
Yeah. It was actually last year because I started my whole writing journey just last year. I had it planned for so much longer. I remember like 6, 7 years ago, I already started sharing those Medium articles on, how to start earning and setting up your business online, how to be a solopreneur. And I remember sending those articles on Medium to my sisters and being like, oh my God, I want to do this one day. This is just so inspiring. But, life happens. And somehow I've never had the guts to do it. I never knew, okay, how do I start? What do I even write about? And I started so my background is actually more of an like a classical entrepreneur. So I founded startups before. I still have my startup, the healthcare startup. And last year we had to run it a little bit slower because we were running a clinical trial and we had to wait for the outcome. And that gave me time to do something on my own and something that I always wanted to do. And I played around with different ideas on how to make your first dollar online. I did like, random things, but I ended up writing about those random things. And eventually I wrote about different topics and saw which one stuck the most for me, which one did I enjoy the most. And after a few months writing on Medium, I made my first dollar there online.
Oh, how did it feel?
Crazy. I mean, it was really like a first proof. Okay, you can make like some money online, even if it was just a dollar. But it was this tiny proof of hey, like like it can work. I guess it's somebody or something works. So yeah, it was a very cool feeling.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Mm.
I have the same story, but only a few years back. So I
Mhm.
started writing on Medium. I was writing on my website, and nobody was reading those articles. It was just personal pleasure I was getting from that. Oh, I've written something and I did it, and it's all that. But I think it just the time pandemic started in June or July 2019 that
Mhm.
I wrote my first article on Medium, and it was just something I was. It's an emotional outburst, and it was something like, what should writers do in a time like this? And it was suggestions about how it's for about it's our responsibility as a writers to inspire hope in people. So I
Yeah.
wrote on those lines and then I forgot about it. I didn't go back. I think 3 or 4 weeks back, I went there and there were so many likes on that article and people were
Um,
commenting on it. And I said, oh my God, there's readers here. So I just, okay, this is the platform I should be writing on. So I started writing on Medium.
Mhm.
And I think it took me probably 4 months or so to earn my first dollar, and it was more than a dollar something, 70 or
Mhm.
80 cents, something, some
Yeah.
weird amount. I kept that image with me for a long, long time,
Mm.
and that, I think that dollar gave me more joy than any amount of money I have earned from
Yeah.
any other places I have worked as a professional and other things. So
Yeah.
that's the feeling we all get, don't we? Money
Yeah.
earned from writing, and because I
Yeah.
don't know what is it about it that it is validity that yes, we can write and people can pay for us,
Yeah.
or it is something else. But it's really great. So,
Yeah. I think it's
my next
somehow
question.
also it's
Yeah.
just a little bit I at least now when you said it, it feels like it's some sort of validation, right? Like almost that you're worth something. And I mean, even if it's just a few cents, but it's something that comes only from your mind, from your creation. And I feel like sometimes, like when you work in a company, in a corporate, it's always like the first,
Mm,
um, like a happiness factor in companies or in teams is appreciation, right? And I think
mm,
like seeing like somebody is paying you for your words is somehow this validation or appreciation. And I think that's at least part of it why it makes it so special.
mm,
And a quick
mm.
question for you, because I love to
Oh,
actually
yeah.
also know more about you. Like, what's your sorry, not sorry. What's your background actually? What's your profession? Do you do this? Do you write
Uh,
full time? Do you have another side
no,
job or?
no.
Yeah.
That's a good question. So, I'm retired, and I don't call myself retired. I said I'm done with paid employment. Now I work for
Mm,
myself.
nice.
And I intentionally retired early, to nurture my writing hobby. So I knew always that when I when I retire from working life, I'll be writing full time. So this is
Yeah.
what I'm doing. So it happened in May 2019, and that
Mhm.
corresponds with COVID and my first articles and all that.
Mhm.
And I started. I was. I write even. I'll get a little bit back with this story. There's a story
Mhm.
behind how I got into writing. I didn't get into writing because I loved writing or I was good at it. I got into writing because my first manager pulled me aside for my first um, performance review. And he said to me that only thing standing between you and senior management position is your written English. And it wasn't
Mm.
good.
Mm.
So
Okay.
you can tell I'm a migrant, and English is my second language. But I was very good at spoken English, wasn't good at
Mhm.
written English.
Mhm.
So it was heartbreaking for me, and
Yeah.
I, rather than getting disappointed, I took the challenge. I said, okay, what can I do about making my written English better? So
Mm.
instead of joining business writing courses, I joined a storytelling course, a life storytelling course. And
That's
I
so cool.
learned how to tell stories from our
Mm.
life. And that skill I used in business writing as well, and which actually gave me the nuance I was looking for. Um,
Mm.
so that's how I got into writing. But while doing that, writing bug has had bitten me hard. So I couldn't get out of it. And now it's my life's mission.
Wow.
It's my legacy, basically. I've written and published 8 nonfiction books and 6 fiction books now, novellas.
Wow. Mm.
So, and my goal is to write 100 books before I die, and
Wow, what a goal.
I'm hoping
That's
that
amazing.
I'll be
Yeah.
hoping that I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
Now that as the confidence is increasing and
Mm.
more and more books are coming. So that's my
Wow.
story. Tell me
That's
about yours.
amazing.
Claudia, is there?
I, yeah, I mean, yeah, so I don't have a background in writing. I just also when I started, I think last year, I wasn't necessarily on the path like, hey, I'm gonna be a
Mhm,
writer. I don't have that ambition to write a book. Actually, it's not that's not on my bucket list. Um,
mhm,
but it's really what I did is I really just started my solopreneurship journey live,
mhm,
sharing all the lessons, all the failures also on the way. But I knew that I
mhm,
wanted to create something online, and then I just fell into Substack, and then I fell into creating a community around it. And in my community, there are actually a lot of creatives and writers, and yeah, and also I mean solopreneurs. But yeah, so somehow I don't have this classical writing background story, neither do you, but you have this more goal on writing books, and that's awesome. I think
yes.
for me it goes a little bit different. Um, yeah, but
So
different story.
no, and that's a good thing because there are so many different kind of writing, and there are so many different ways of making money with writing, and that leads me to my next
Yeah.
question. So you have built several writing income stream from your
Mhm,
writing.
mhm.
Do you want to share what are those? Then I'll share mine as well, and give
Yeah.
the listeners an idea how can they make money from their writing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think the first ones are not so exciting. I feel like they're the more classical ones, but I mean, yeah, so I started on Medium, but then Medium somehow changed. At least when I started, everybody said like, "Oh, it's changing." And all those big writers on Medium said like, "Hey, if they had to start over again, they would go to Substack."
Mm-hmm.
So I followed their advice and I went on Substack, and actually Substack now is really my only writing income. So that's the only platform I am actually with my writing. I still write every now and then on Medium, but it's actually just Substack. And yeah, I mean, what I do there in terms of income streams, it's I have my paid subscription open. I offer digital products. I offer coaching. I offer sometimes cohorts and like like writing together or creating together online.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so those are the more classical ones. And then a little bit into what developed out of this starting writing business and starting to connect with other creators. I have another publication next to Wonderwealth that is called the AI Soloist, and that's more really focusing on AI and how to, you know, how to really use it for your writing, how to use it for your business, for your creations. And because my background also is a little bit more in AI actually,
Mm-hmm.
um, but more on the technical side. And yeah, and with my publication, I was looking into, okay, how can I bring more, okay, AI tools and knowledge and technical side more to the, how can people actually use it in their everyday life? And I don't want to talk too much about it, but basically a couple weeks ago, me and two other creators, we started this project called Kazora, and there and we now have AI community where every week you get a live session, every other week you get a Q&A, you get a community matching calls. We have guest speakers, and so this also somehow started with, me writing online and Substack and connecting with other people and creating visions together. And I think that's the cool part about it, at least for me. I really took this writing step from one thing and now it turned into something so much bigger and exciting for me and kind of where I always wanted to go without even knowing. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a long answer for your for your question.
Yeah. No,
Mm.
Substack definitely opens a lot of door for
Mhm.
everybody. And it's just up to you whether you stay behind a closed door or open your door as
Yeah.
well and see what opportunities lie outside. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. You have listed the main income streams. What is the paid? Let's start with the paid subscription, and then
Mhm.
there is digital products, and then there is the you mentioned the cohorts and courses, things like that. So that's the main ones. There are few things which I have. My additional one is the royalties from the books,
Mhm.
because I publish them and I get royalties from there as well. And then there is I'm running a cohort, my course on Substack itself.
Mhm.
So which is for the in the live interactions. So it's a weekly meet, and I go through the modules, and it's a 3 month course, 12 modules.
Mhm.
And it's a another way you can use Substack is, so instead of going to the expensive course, providing platforms like Circle and School and other places, you can use Substack itself and deliver your course there. You can also use Substack to have your workshops, or I call them skill
Mhm.
sessions. So I sell those skill sessions individually as well. So that's another way of making income. So if you're starting small, you start with little things rather than embarking
Yeah.
straight into bigger things, such as having a 3 month course like I'm having, or cohort like I'm having.
Mhm. Yeah.
Consultation is another one, and coaching and consultation. So that's a one-off fee. Anybody can work with anybody for a one particular skill and to get one-to-one attention. So that's another one, and I do that too. You just need to create a link where people can pay you and book a time with you, and off
Yeah.
you go. It works on auto. Another one I came suggested yesterday in my post, and people can go and have a look at that post. Advertising, including advertising in your uh,
Mm.
newsletter.
Yeah.
Many people are reluctant to it, and so I actually challenged their belief that, why are you writing a newsletter? You're writing a
Mm.
newsletter so that you can provide value to your subscribers.
Yeah.
And one way of providing value is getting them meet with a product or service they might be needing with their work. So you
Mhm.
have a select group of people who joined, or use who subscribe to your newsletter because they are looking for same things you are giving them. And if you
Yeah.
add with that very niche
Mm.
specific recommendations and get paid for that, there is nothing wrong with that. People
Yeah.
don't no need to think it that it is a um, that their purity of their newsletter is compromised if they put ads in there. So
Yeah.
I have talked
No.
about it at length in that newsletter, and given people 3 ways how they can start. So
Yeah.
that is something worth considering. So we got
Yeah.
covered so
Sorry?
many ways of making income.
S Sorry, say again?
We have covered so many ways of making
Oh,
income from your writing.
yeah, yeah, that's true. And actually, for people listening, I mean, if you have any questions around that, I know usually that's a topic where people have a lot of questions, how to
Yes.
start, where, so please write it in
Yeah.
the chat. I mean, we're here
Yeah.
also for anybody listening. Or maybe if you want to tell us what has worked already for you and what hasn't, we can chip in. Really feel free to write it in the chat.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So have you actually did or I'll reframe the question. Did you find it hard initially to go from free writing to paid writing?
Um, I don't think so. I think for me, because I've always, I started this really saying like, hey, I want to create eventually a business around this for myself. This is
Mm-hmm.
really my switch from being a entrepreneur, really being or realizing that I'm not made for all this investor calls and this investment pressure. And it was just really not my thing. And I knew I wanted to do something on my own and really deciding 100% my time, my resources. So I always had this business outlook on things. So I think the switch actually from free to paid was always on my mind. I just had to be a
Mm-hmm.
learning experience in how I did it. Yeah.
We have a question actually now.
Mhm.
So if
Right.
you are starting now, what would be the first few steps for monetization? It's a very appropriate question for what you were just talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Should I go ahead or
Yes, you do it.
yeah. I mean, for me, I started pretty much 1 year ago, so it's not so long ago. And I would really start by building up your free audience on Substack because we're here. You're here apparently, Amit. So I think you're already on the first step. Like you're on the right platform, I think, right now to grow. Substack has huge ambitions to really be like the online home for online creators. Um, and yeah, and I think it's important to, so two things. I think really spend time to create connections, to create a free subscriber list. I think that's the first thing, because you can't earn anything if you don't have the distribution channel and the, you know, the people around it. So and that's going to take a while, you know, like I often get, you know, messages from my subscribers saying like, hey, I just don't grow. I don't, you know, see subscribers. And then I ask them, how long have you been trying? They say like, yeah, a few weeks every day. But it's not a few weeks. It's really is a few months every single day that you have to put in the work and the effort to build, you know, your audience here. So that's the first thing. And then the second is really focus on finding your brand, your voice, like what makes you unique. And I think that's another thing, because people then try, you know, to, I tell them, hey, Substack Notes is great to grow, but then I see them, you know, writing very, very generic things. And, you know, like you always have to think about like, okay, what does your audience need right now? And how can you chip in with your unique perspective into it? And that's going to be your brand, and that's going to be your voice, and really lean in on that, because that's what's going to make you more special. And those two things I would really focus on for 3 to 6 months. And then you have a very good base to then start really monetizing it.
Mm. I'll add two things to it. First
Mhm.
thing I would say that doesn't matter if you're starting new and you don't have any subscribers, always turn your pledge on, which
Mm,
means people are not paying you, but they are pledging that if you go paid, I'll be uh, willing to pay you or become a paid subscriber. So what that does, it gives you moral boost. Even when one person says pledges to pay you, your confidence grows a lot,
mm,
and it's got nothing, they won't be paying you straight away. So you
mm,
won't have this chicken feed that, oh, somebody's paying me now, better provide some value. No, put the pledge on so that you get the moral boost from that, and then or confidence boost from that, and then you can keep building your audience and keep building your voice, and getting better at your writing. The second thing I would say is make your offer very clear. Because if you are unclear yourself how you are going to help others, what is your unique offer? And unique doesn't mean it has to be completely out of this world. It means that what value add you're adding to the whatever others are providing as well. You and I are providing similar kind of service, but our offers are totally unique, and our audience is totally unique as well, different as well. I concentrate on writers and creative professionals, and you might be concentrating on solopreneurs, and which is a different bucket. So make your offer completely clear, so that when somebody comes um, to your homepage or your Substack profile, they know this is a person who can help me, so they subscribe.
mm,
And people don't just become paid subscriber on the first day. They'll read your post for a month or 2 months or 3 months or 4 months,
mm,
and when they start getting enough value for free, that's when they go paid, because they say, if
mm.
this person's free offer is so good, how good their paid offer would be. So that's
Yeah.
where what you just said comes into play, that spend 4 5 months building that trust, and building your voice and your content, so that can really help people. People are not just going to, yes, few people pay you for your writing. They say, I like your work, I want to pay you. But those people are fair few, and they only do it once or twice. They will not pay you for nothing. You got to provide the value. And your value is how they can help them from going from point A to point B.
Mm.
And it could be a tiny thing, but they are willing to pay you for that. And you got to understand that. I got a very good long question here, Claudia. I'm going to read
Mm-hmm.
it so that it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go off the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So, this person, humanity connection. He's saying or she is saying, I'm a behavior practitioner and I have written many behavior programs helping people develop healthier relationship and connection to to self intimate and social conception, which is number one, which is 1 hour session. How do I go about introducing these? So it's a bit hard to read because the background is white, but yeah, it's she's asking. She's got the program, and how should she introduce it?
Yeah, I think they actually said, yeah, it's a 12 times 2 hour session. So it's a
Mhm.
program with 12 times 2 hour session. How to go about introducing these. Um, I mean, I'm a little bit unclear what is meant with introducing. So just like promoting the program or actually delivering it. How do you understand it, Neera?
Uh, I think it can go both ways. It could be one to one, or it could be a cohort setting as well. So if it's one to one, then it's just go like a consultation or coaching kind of arrangement. Um,
Mm.
put it after your all your post one CTA call to action that you can book time with me and you can do it by this connection. And if it is a cohort form, which where means you are teaching a group of people together, you can follow actually my format. Do it on Substack, announce your course, set a date that I will be running it from this period to this period. This is the cost. Give an incentive to join at a certain um, rebate, um, whatever you want to put it, so that people have incentive to join and they do it in by certain period. And when you get that, you start running it at the same day, time and date or day um, for 12 weeks. And 2 hour, you can do a 2 hour session. I do 1.5 hour session. You can do a 2 hour session, or you can, if you want to do a shorter session, do more of them. But I would say if it is your first course, rather than going into such a long one and getting this much commitment from your subscriber as well as from your yourself, it's better to do shorter ones first. Try it out whether you can do it and you can sell them. Do one to one. That way you know your own capacity and you know people's commitment as well, because time is very scarce. Everybody is time poor these
Mm.
days, and they're people are more um, they're more receptive to a session in one session in which they can learn one thing rather than 12 sessions in which they learn 12 things. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind
Mm.
as well. um, it's not just the attention span, lack of attention or attention spans. It is also the lack of time commitment, because we have so many other things to do as well.
Mm. Yeah.
Anything you can add?
Hi. Yeah. So my name is Ellen. So hi, Ellen. Thanks for interacting here with us. That's always exciting. I mean, seeing your background, maybe you have done this already, maybe in a physical setting. So
Mhm.
I guess now the question is just how to do it online. Um, and I'm also wondering, are you bringing people that you know already to the sessions, or are you looking for, like promoting it new to your Substack audience? Because especially if you say, it has to be, it's intimate sessions, it's social sessions. I think the first step is, you will need to, create this trust online, because that's hard, like people, especially if it's like a topic where it's a little bit delicate, people will need to feel this trust at first. So, actually, I have one client I coached, and they did something similar. They also had like a completely different topic, but also like a more delicate or more intimate setting. And what they did is they asked some of their physical clients, to go onto a podcast or like a recorded session. Of course, they're asked if it's okay, and they, talked through things, and then that person used that as kind of a testimonial
Mm,
to showing how those sessions look like, and what kind of feeling is there in the atmosphere and everything. And I think that's especially for this online trust super important. So if you can maybe out of your
mm.
experience and maybe some of your people you've worked with get a testimonial and ask them if it's okay for you to use that on Substack to, start promoting your course. That's one thing that I would recommend to do.
That's excellent suggestion, actually, Claudia, which reminded me that when I started my initial skill sessions, I invited some of my physical students whom I was teaching in my home town to join that session, so that
Mm,
the room was a bit fuller, and they actually had the right connection with me to ask the right questions and keep the energy of the room going. So that's something else Ellen can try as well, to invite them to attend for free. They might be ready to do give you the moral support you need for the online session, and that way you can get a bit more energy to deliver the session, as well as for the people who are joining you from online. Okay, do we have another question?
Yes, we have. And I think it also has to be our last question because then I need to start running and start my day. But yeah, Lorraine said, beginner, where would it be better to post articles? Is it Medium or Substack?
Hmm. What do you think?
I have a very clear answer on this because I tried it last year, and I think, it, at least out of my personal experience, it's definitely Substack.
Hmm.
Um, and the thing is, I mean, you can repurpose it also, right? Like if you write one article, you can just publish it on both sides and see, who you're gonna get. But I think in terms of
Hmm.
um, growing and really being seen and really starting to create connections and develop your voice and your brand, Substack
Hmm.
makes it so much easier for you. Because especially with AI, I think like on Medium, just my personal take on it, but on Medium, it's so much harder to stand out, and Substack makes it easier for you to show that you're human, and somehow that's your competitive edge now. So I would definitely say go for Substack.
Hmm. And I have stopped writing on Medium for a year, almost a year
Hmm.
ago. So
Yeah.
uh, that's probably is the answer we can give you.
Mhm.
Okay, it was. Can't believe we have 5 minutes over. The half an hour go went so quick.
Yes.
Talking to you, and thanks for your lovely
Mhm.
questions, and it kept the momentum going and time flying. Um, we are going to publish this on our both of our sites or our publications. I try to do notes with that as well, so mine will come a day later. I don't know about you, Claudia. Do you do it straight away, or do you write some notes with it too? Um, it's up to you.
Y- Yeah. Yeah. I write usually some notes around it, share some clips, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Sorry we couldn't take all the questions, but when we publish it, you can write your questions and we'll answer it over there. All right.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you very
Thank you so
much. Bye
much.
bye, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for
Bye.
joining. Bye.